Hello everyone, Shintobean here playing some more Warhammer Combat Cards Campaign Mode, and this is the very first campaign where they are debuting the new energy and scoring system at the same time. This is Chaos versus Orcs. We have 300 points available and the Aura of Rage increasing the melee attack of deployed units each turn. So, as I mentioned in a previous video, there are a lot of factors when determining the new scoring of victory points for these campaigns. So, what I've done here on the first day is I took a screenshot of the victory points I achieved at the end of each of the first 12 battles, and I can go through and compare the bodyguard and warlord composition versus the number of victory points scored to see if I can see a pattern and determine how to score the maximum victory points possible under these new conditions. So this is the first battle I played. I actually forgot to take a screenshot, but I remembered the score. It was 1,756 victory points, and there were 2 bodyguards and Boss Zagstruck as the warlord. The second match had the same number of bodyguards, just 2, but the warlord was Mozrog Skragbad, who has a much higher starting health than Zagstruck, so I did get more points for this battle. On the third battle, I got about 250 more victory points for killing 3 bodyguards with Gazgul Thraka as the warlord. The next battle was also against Gaz, but running 5 bodyguards this time, giving me about 200 more victory points. And the next battle was also against Gaz with the same number of bodyguards, but I still got more victory points, I'm assuming because the cards were just higher level, or the bodyguards had higher health. The following battle also had just 5 bodyguards, but was against Mozrog Skragbad. The victory points are still continuing to increase fairly linearly, about 250 more points for this match than the previous one. The next match was against Snickrot running 6 bodyguards, and I got about 300 more victory points for this one. The next one was against Zagstruck running 6 bodyguards, got about 300 more points for this one. I think maybe because I took slightly less damage from this deck, as Snickrot is able to deal quite a bit of damage with his special rule. And speaking of the devil, here's Snickrot again, running only 5 bodyguards, but if you look closely, there's actually a Lord of War in there. This was the first Lord of War that I faced, and it was the Stampa, really powerful unit with Big Game Hunter and Barrage. So that dealt a lot of extra damage, and I think it just had less overall wounds because of the fewer bodyguard count, so I got fewer victory points in this one for the first time. I got a lot more VP in the next match against Badruck running 6 bodyguards. This time I think I actually slightly altered my deck, putting in the Keeper of Secrets so that I could better be able to keep my overall wounds above the 70% threshold. Match number 11 was another tough one against Snickrot running 6 bodyguards including a Lord of War. This time it was the Mega Tank with Precision Shot and Barrage, and that I remember dealing a lot of damage. So I only got slightly more victory points for this one compared to the previous match. And that brings us to level 12, the final level we can play in the first 24 hours of this campaign, and I'm going to actually show you the battle itself to give you an idea of my deck composition and play style. I am running a mostly keyword deck, running Gloggerthrox the Foul as the warlord, and 6 keyword bodyguards, along with the Keeper of Secrets and this 6-point Deathblow guy. I think this guy is actually quite good for the new scoring system because he has very little health, so that won't detract from your overall health lost. Because you just have to end the battle with 70% of your starting overall base health of your deck in order to score the maximum possible for that category. Which is why including things with like Fear and other defensive traits, Shield would also be good. Unfortunately, none of the keyword cards have Shield, so I'm not running any in this deck. Healing is also good. You won't get a bonus for having more health at the end of the match, but it will prevent you from going below the overall starting health. So always good to include healers like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and deploy and we'll see what we're up against. Of course, one thing that many players are concerned about is the luck involved in this new scoring system, because some enemies you face are a lot more difficult than others. Of course, the damage you deal is taken into consideration, so depending on their unit composition, so the number of bodyguards and then also the type of bodyguards and their level all plays a part in determining how many victory points you score. But of course, that's different for every player. So at the beginning here, they've deployed Ed Zappa. He's going to be getting boosted by the special rule. We have a Lord of War, the Morkanot in the center lane. That's going to be a bit of an issue, I think. It's got Big Game Hunter. I think I'm going to drop the Jackal. The question is, do I want to put him in the center lane or across from Ed Zappa? Probably over here, I think. Although it is kind of a waste, using the Medicae on him. Kind of regretting putting that Plague Surgeon down on turn 1, but what can you do? Of course, we do want to avoid putting anything that's 40 or more points across from the Morkanot, or else it's just going to be dealing huge amounts of damage. They're going ranged, actually, which is, yeah, not great. I now should have realized I should have put the Jackal in the center lane. And yeah, getting the Aura of Rage is increasing the damage of everything as well. So, yeah, we're going to be taking a lot of damage here. We're going to go melee here. And I'm really hoping that the Jackal just dies on the next turn, but it's probably not going to happen if they keep going ranged. We'll see what they do here. Yeah, that Psy Blast dealing double the damage to the other lanes. They are going Psychic, though. Okay, so that's good news. We're getting debuff, though, to the melee, so pretty rough start here to this battle. There goes the Death Blow, and it does take down Ed Zappa. And kind of wasted the Nurgle's Rot there, didn't do anything. Alright, they're building up a really strong melee attack, which is kind of worrisome. I guess we'll go with this guy, Typhus. He's pretty tanky. He's got Fear for a secondary trait, so just 35% less damage. And I think this turn maybe we'll just go Psychic here, I think. Actually, going melee might not be so bad. Take that back. I'm going to go melee just to take down that Shock Jump Dragsta in the left lane. We poisoned the Stormboy Knob, and actually, yeah, using Nurgle's Rot can actually really help out because it reduces the damage on, their biggest guys, which are, of course, the biggest threat. Okay, 2 shields on the big mech over there. We're going to drop the Keeper of Secrets, but where are we putting him? I think we'll put him over in the right lane. We'll get the Fear to further reduce the damage from the Morganot, and Typhus is under 40 points, so he won't be taking extra damage from Big Game Hunter. So that's looking a little bit better now. They can go ranged and deal quite a bit of damage here. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to stay above 40% of the total health in this match. So we'll just see how much that affects our score here. Let's go with... That's actually not bad, that melee attack right there. But I think we're going to go Psychic here and just save up the melee attack for a future turn. I do want to just try to bust down the shields on the big mech over here. Or they'll probably go ranged, so we should be able to hit them pretty hard on this next turn. And they are indeed going ranged. They have a 96% boost to their melee attack. So once Snickrot deploys, he may be attacking for quite a bit. Fortunately, they don't have any more traits that combo with Snickrot. No more like AoE traits, so that is helpful. And that is a whole lot of damage right there. 544 melee. So I think, yeah, saving up that melee attack for the final round was a good choice. And I don't think they'll be able to attack into this because the Aura of Rage has just been boosting the attack on these guys by so much that Snickrot can't go melee without dying. So that means no more damage taken to our bodyguards. And we can just end the game right here. So yeah, damage dealt is taken into consideration. Still a bit unclear whether things like, does poison contribute to damage dealt? I'm not sure entirely if, I'm assuming if you kill the Warlord, and there's enemy bodyguards remaining, it'll just count as the maximum damage. But here you can see we scored 4,500 victory points, which is more than in any other battle. Even though I took a lot more damage than any of the previous levels, I still scored more than before, So now the question is, what is my rank now that I've played all 12 matches? Again, because the new energy system, everyone can play a maximum of 12 matches in the first 24 hours. So this is the maximum score I could achieve on the first day compared to the maximum score of everyone else who has played this campaign. And I got 37,859 victory points, placing me in the top 10%, it looks like. I think this campaign is a lot more competitive with this new system. I think a lot of people are testing the limits and seeing how many victory points they score. So it'll be extra hard to score high, I think. But as time goes on, I'm sure the competitiveness will drop a little bit. But let's take a look at the top tier. Right now, the person in first place has 41,000 victory points, which is pretty impressive. And I'm honestly not really sure how they managed to score that many points, because even if all of your cards are completely max level, it shouldn't really affect your score by that much. I think the only difference will be the percentage of health that your units have remaining at the end of the battle. And I suppose, to an extent, the enemy Warlord and Bodyguard composition could also contribute to that. So, that would be the damage dealt. If the enemy deck had more health in it overall, then you have more chances to deal more damage. So there's the luck factor there, but also if this player, for example, was just able to keep his cards at above 70% of their health for the entire time, which I was not able to do, then he'd be able to score a bit more on the points. So this was just the first 24 hours, though. It is a 2-day campaign. We'll see how things change on day 2, and if this player is able to maintain their lead. But it looks like a reasonably fair system, I think. At least that's my first impression. Keep an eye out for day 2. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.